Hey guys! Today we'll be covering a 2022 film called Honor Society. The movie revolves around a girl named Honor Rose, who is an ambitious senior at George H.W. Bush High School. Although she has a lot of pictures of celebrities in her room, she feels they are trivial, and she has no choice but to admire them for fitting into society. The only genuine thing in her room is a book called The Handmaid's Tale. It tells the story of a woman who is trapped in a male-dominated society and doesn't have control of her fate. Honor lives with her parents, Janet and Marvin. At school, she doesn't show her true self to others. Honor has only two friends in the whole school, Talia and Emma, who are also the most popular girls there. Honor has a teacher called Mr. Kelvin, a wannabe musician, with an inappropriate crush on her, who is also her guidance counselor. Honor's only desire is to get into a prestigious school and is willing to do whatever it takes. She has taken part in various school programs to improve her student record. She is captain of the volleyball team and the editor-in-chief of the school newspaper. She also started a food bank for the economically disadvantaged and a school karate club while never letting her grades suffer. She fancies a boy named Travis Biggins, but doesn't have the time for a relationship. Honor has formulated a plan that will set her on track to getting one step closer to her dream of studying at Harvard. Apart from feigning several interests, Honor's plan includes earning a letter of recommendation from Mr. Calvin, since he has a best friend, Howie Kaplan, studying at Harvard. However, when she approaches Mr. Calvin for the letter, she learns that 3 other students have requested recommendations as well. Mr. Calvin can only write one letter of recommendation, so Honor is competing against Travis Biggins, captain of the lacrosse team and son of Coach Biggins, Kennedy Park, a drama student, and Michael Dubnicki, the awkward but academically brilliant nerd. Honor resolves to eliminate all of them from contention with the help of her fake friends, Emma and Talia. She tries to get the unpopular Kennedy a date for the prom, hoping that it will distract her, but without success. Honor then decides to shift her focus to Michael. Upon interacting with him, she incorrectly assumes that he has a crush on her, so she makes herself his lab partner. After spending time with him, she learns that he is very kind in nature. In the meantime, Talia and Emma spy on Travis and his girlfriend Christine. They notice Travis being disinterested in Christine and staring at other boys. They quickly deduce that Travis is a closeted gay, and Honor decides to out him. Next, Honor contacts the faculty advisor, Mrs. Felsen, to join Kennedy's theater group, hoping to sabotage her upcoming play. Gary, the leader of the club, is keen on letting Honor join as a backstage member, so Miss Felsen allows her to join. It's then revealed that Kennedy has written a play for the prom, but the drama students have the option to choose either her play or another one called Spring Awakening. Unfortunately, the students choose Spring Awakening, much to Kennedy's dismay. In the washroom, Honor comforts Kennedy to win her trust by complimenting her play. Later, she convinces Mrs. Felsen to select Kennedy's play. She also recommends Travis for the lead role in hopes of pushing him into pursuing his closeted crush on Gary. Both Honor and Gary try to convince Travis, but without success. The next day at school, Mr. Calvin hands out flyers for his next music show and forces Honor to attend. Meanwhile, Kennedy offers to make the costumes for the play, and over the course of the next couple of days, prioritizes it over her schoolwork. As a result, she forgets to do her essay and assignments, which takes a toll on her grades. Meanwhile, Travis eventually shows up at the theater room to accept the role of the Duke. One evening, Honor invites Michael to her home for a study session. She tries to distract him by dressing scantily and flirting insincerely with him, but he just laughs her off. Michael eventually catches on to what Honor is doing, so he charms her with his kindness and their mutual interest in The Handmaid's Tale. Soon, Honor's mother Janet brings them a snack and refuses to leave them alone, so Honor suggests studying at Michael's house the next time. However, he turns her down. As a result, she grows suspicious, prompting her to tell Talia and Emma to tail Michael back to his home. They try to follow Michael after school, but lose him as they get distracted. The scene then cuts to the theater room where Kennedy is finishing up her decorations for the play. Meanwhile, Travis and a girl named Grace are practicing their lines. When Grace struggles to act well, Gary demonstrates how she should act and throws himself in Travis's arms. Here, it is revealed that Gary also has feelings for Travis. However, they are unable to express their feelings to one another, and soon, Coach Biggins barges in the room and takes Travis away for lacrosse practice. The same night, Honor attends Mr. Calvin's music show for the sake of the recommendation letter. After his performance, Honor gives the pervert teacher a drug-laced drink to keep him from making a move on her. Unaware, he thanks her for the beer and tries to hit on her. But because of the drug, he becomes heavily sedated, which keeps him in check. Later, he offers Honor a ride home, which she refuses. Instead, she drives him to school and leaves him in the middle of the lacrosse court along with his car to cover up the fact that she drugged her own teacher. The next day, Talia and Emma make up an elaborate plan to make Christine unhappy with Travis and Grace's kiss in the play. The girls succeed, and Christine orders Travis to quit the play. However, she is left enraged when Kennedy replaces Grace with Gary. Meanwhile, after failing to sabotage Michael's shot at getting the recommendation letter, Honor decides to take matters into her own hands and spy on Michael herself. Soon, she finds out that Michael actually lives in foster care, and that's why he was hesitant to invite her home. She feels terrible and calls Michael over for a second study session. Slowly, she begins to develop feelings for him and acts nervous around him because of it. Michael notices the change in her behavior and reads lines from The Handmaid's Tale to comfort her. This makes her confess that she had followed him home to find out where he was living. Michael also comes clean and tells her that he studies hard so he can get a scholarship, as his foster mom cannot afford his college fees. The two begin to stare at each other, and just as they are about to kiss, Honor's mom brings snacks, and they pretend as if nothing happened. Meanwhile, Kennedy contacts a huge LGBTQ+ organization after casting two males opposite each other in her play. The gay organization supports her play by providing them with necessary equipment and website hosting for live streaming of the play. Moments later, Talia shows up and informs Kennedy that Mr. Calvin has called her to discuss her declining academic performance. Honor follows her to Mr. Calvin's office to eavesdrop on their conversation, but Travis stops her to talk about how the play has taught him to be himself, and also how his dad might not accept him for being gay. Hearing this, Honor becomes happy, and she encourages him to come out to his father. Meanwhile, after her conversation with Mr. Calvin, Kennedy becomes emotional and hugs Honor when she runs into her outside. Honor feels a little guilty and puts a little bit of the blame on herself for Kennedy's bad grades, but the latter reassures her and hugs her. She says that Honor has changed her life and she has become more confident, and now she has a chance to show her talent to everyone at school. Honor finally starts to realize the lives she has touched and begins to see the error of her ways. On the way back home, she runs into Michael walking by himself in another part of the town, away from his foster home. Upon being asked, he reveals that when he was a kid, he took this road every day to go home, but now that he is in foster care, he likes to imagine that his parents are still alive and are waiting for him at home. The two then break into one of the big and fancy houses in the neighborhood and make out. However, they are soon forced to leave when the owners suddenly return. Honor is the happiest she has ever been, but she still decides to hide her fling from everyone. Meanwhile, Christine breaks up with Travis. She thinks that Honor is his new girlfriend, so she confronts her and starts bullying her. However, Honor fights back and takes Christine down. Soon, Travis shows up and announces that he is gay, revealing that he is in a relationship with Gary. Unable to bear the news, Christine runs off and outs Travis to his father. In the next scene, Travis rushes to his father and tries to explain himself, but the latter reveals that he has known this since he was in 5th grade. He accepts his son for who he is, not his sexuality. Hearing this, Travis is finally relieved. After a few days, Michael again returns to Honor's place to study for the next day's midterm exam. Honor had initially planned to drug Michael, but due to her growing attraction towards him, she cancels her plan. One thing leads to another, and Michael again kisses Honor. The next day, Honor feels a sense of clarity that she doesn't have to hide her true self. She publicly kisses Michael right after the midterm exam, shocking her classmates. She also begins to genuinely enjoy the theater club and making real bonds with Kennedy and Travis. Meanwhile, Calvin continues to make strong sexual advances towards Honor, even going as far as to make a sexual proposition in exchange for the Harvard recommendation letter. However, Honor shuts him down, letting Michael win the recommendation. Nevertheless, she still feels content as she is happy with her new circle of friends. A few days later during lunch, Honor texts Michael and finds out that he has ditched school. Wanting to meet him, Honor goes to Michael's foster home and discovers that he doesn't live there, but at the fancy house which they had snuck into earlier. Lo and behold, she discovers that Michael is not only very well off, but just as manipulative as she is. Michael reveals that he duped Honor the entire time from when they first started talking, planning to get her to fall in love with him so that she would concede the Harvard recommendation for him. He reveals that he improvised breaking into his own house because he didn't expect Honor would follow him. Hearing this, a shocked and heartbroken Honor dumps Michael and leaves. Meanwhile, Kennedy's production goes on to become a huge success, and Honor finds herself having fun with genuine friends that she cares about. She is proud of herself for having helped Kennedy come out of her shell, and Travis to publicly come out. Suddenly, she decides to make one last attempt to foil Michael's plans. She goes to Calvin's office just as he is about to hand over the recommendation letter to Michael. She then blackmails Mr. Calvin by playing a recording of him making sexual advances towards her. Left with no choice, Mr. Calvin is forced into giving the recommendation letter to Kennedy over Michael, much to the latter's dismay. In the end, Honor decides to enjoy the rest of her senior year, unsure of her academic future, with her new friends and a new outlook towards her life.